Hello and welcome back to episode 90 of the Bodcast.
Oh, we started with the episode number. I like.
Good.
I'm here.
I'm joined today by my lovely wife.
That's me.
That's you. We won't use your name.
It's Carrie.
And today...
It's Carrie. My name's Carrie.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
I think they know.
Just checking you knew.
I mean, we've not talked about what we're doing today, but I'm assuming we're discussing Bricktastic.
Yes, so we have already discussed Bricktastic on the way home from the show. And we had to
can't not.
Yeah, exactly. But we had to try and stop ourselves from ruining all the conversation.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can recreate the discussion that we had, because I think we had some good discussion points. But they'll never know.
Yeah.
So Bricktastic.
Bricktastic. So, for those people who aren't aware, Bricktastic is possibly the biggest Lego show in the UK.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely up there in the top couple.
I thought definitely up there in Manchester.
Yeah.
Yes, the best.
So
biggest one in Manchester. No, I think it is the biggest in the UK.
It was up in Manchester. So this year it was basically one big convention hall. And in that you had all of the mocks, you had some brick pits, you had cellars, you had some food, dining tables. Dining area.
Yeah, and seating.
Yep. So it's slightly different to last year. But this year was our first year displaying there. So that was quite an exciting thing.
Yeah, and it's only our second display.
Yeah.
Only our second show that we've displayed at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. So the first one we did was the Great Western Brick Show last year, which is in Swindon, which we will be hopefully doing again this year.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Yeah. So what should we talk about first?
Did we have a fun time?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah. So we obviously did a podcast a couple of weeks ago about the stress of it and being a bit worried that we didn't have the right sort of plan because we wanted to pick up the kids and take them somewhere to drop them off on the way, and we weren't going to make it in time. Yeah. So we rejigged all our plans. We had both grandparents, sets of grandparents, watching the children whilst we went on the Friday. Yeah. And so we had to get there for 9. And in the end, it was fine. It was a long journey up, but we got our mock in well before 9. We even had time to add some extra in. Yeah. It wasn't too stressful a drive apart from it being slow and like a bit stop-starty. But
yeah, I mean, I think we knew that actually setting up the mock doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come into many pieces. So it's basically just 2 large pieces that you have to carry in and stick together, and then a couple of little bits.
Yeah, so the only thing is if it falls completely apart, but it didn't. So
it didn't. It survived the journey.
Yeah, and the journey across the hall, because that's the thing. We were right in the corner of the hall compared to the loading bay, right at the start for like the members of the public coming in, pretty much. But yeah, quite a long way to then carry the mock. But it's the luck of the draw where you get put. It doesn't really, but you could be right by the door, you could be not. I think if you were right by the door on the Friday night, you'd be very cold because, like, it's open.
Yes.
And there's nowhere to, like, hide from the cold.
No.
So at least over where we were was a bit warmer. Plus we had our, like, nice fancy yellow jackets on.
High-vis jackets.
Yeah. Didn't we look cool? So yeah, the setup for the mock was good. The first day, like, they ease us in with a quiet hour both days, so wasn't overly frantic to start with, but then it built up and there was a lot of visitors to the mock and all very enthusiastic, as we experienced from Swindon. So the public did their job really well.
Yes.
We'd made a few changes to the mock that based on the Swindon feedback, so that was quite good. And I'd added a random talking piece to the mock.
You did add a random sheep into the coral reef.
Yeah, and I think that was a genius move because it meant that if they weren't already going to talk to us because they liked our mock, they'd see the sheep and the kids would go, "Why is there a sheep?"
Yes.
And then also the parents would go, "No, there's not a sheep in this." And then they would see the sheep and we were like, "Yeah."
There was one kid who was saying what was in there. So the young kids have a tendency just to point and say.
Yeah.
So it'll be like octopus,
shark,
fish,
turtle, ray, stingray,
and then sheep.
Yeah.
And the parent went, "It's pronounced ship."
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, it's a ship. I think he means ship. No. He means sheep. There's definitely a sheep there. Can you imagine if a kid was actually going, oh, look at all these sheeps. Like, that's not something you get wrong.
No.
To think that that's what your kid is saying, that's kind of belittling to them.
Yeah.
Also, one of the dads was quite funny, and he said, it's not a sheep, it's a barracuda, which I think was possibly one of the highlights for me. Yes. That guy, that was quick thinking on his part. So I think the whole process of like the public interaction, just as before, really rewarding, really good fun.
Yeah, and I think there were a couple of kind of standout interactions. One is I love it when the kids put up their hands to ask questions. It's so cute.
Yeah.
So like that. But another one was, I think it was the Sunday morning, and, you know, this woman came over. She didn't say anything. She was just staring at the mock. She got really close, head moving around. For a good 5 minutes, she was looking at the mock, looking at different bits of it. Meanwhile, kind of a crowd curled around her because they didn't want to interrupt her, because clearly what she was doing was very serious. So there's me with the mock in front of me, her then just with her face in it, and a group of people round. And then she goes to walk away, and then turns back and spends another 2 minutes looking at it until she just then left.
She said nothing.
She said nothing throughout the whole thing. It was amazing.
But it is nice to see. And what I like is that one side of our mock is like a wall, and the people who approach from that way don't see what's coming. And then their face changes, and it's really it is fantastic. Like, you can see oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting to see that. And some of them just say nothing, but their face says it all. Yeah. Some of the kids are like, wow, this is sick, which then the parents have to explain, sick means good. And I'm like, how old do you think we are that we don't understand that that's what that means? Kind of rude, but yeah.
But then the other great thing, so you get quite a lot of people would say, this is the best set we've seen so far.
Yeah. And then
which we were quite close to the door, so it's hard to know how to take that. But we did have 2 people who came back, and they said they'd been around the whole place, and ours was the best.
Yeah. Oh, well, not the best. I don't think there's their favourite.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a competition. And we had a couple of people ask, are you all like trying to win a prize and stuff? And it's like, no, we're all just here because we all love Lego. We all want to just share what we've done. I mean, there was the element of competition over at the Bricktastic Masters.
Yes.
Which I think is enough. I don't think competing. I mean, obviously I would love to get a prize, but just being told that 2 people found it their favourite thing is enough.
Yeah.
And in fact, just seeing the looks on these kids' faces, and the adults as well. The number of people who said, oh, nice parts usage was quite funny. Like, you can see that a lot of them have been watching Lego Masters and learning these things, because it's obviously a phrase, we use it, but it feels wrong coming from other people. But they could be massive Lego fans. But it was funny. So yeah, I would say good show.
Yeah.
So one of the conversations we had on the way back was, how does it compare to the other show that we did?
Yes.
So I guess we should probably talk about the organisation of both, because I think that's where I think they both differ. So do they differ? I don't really remember Swindon, like the communication before Swindon. In fact, I have no recollection of how.
I don't remember either.
But we booked it. How we even got told that we were going to be there, and when we should be there, and all of that. So maybe it's not a fair thing to compare.
Was it Swindon that was the really weird one, that you apply, then hear absolutely nothing for months?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're waiting for all the applications to come in before they.
And we were getting worried.
Confirm anyone.
Yeah, we were starting to get worried that we wouldn't get a place, and therefore we'd miss out on actually going to the show. But that didn't happen. That was fine.
No.
But yeah, there was definitely an element of that. And so with Bricktastic, we applied literally like a couple of days before the deadline, because we still weren't entirely sure whether we could go. But we knew that my mum wasn't available to look after the kids. We worked out a way that your parents could look after them. That didn't work in the end, because, it was just too much for the kids to be going all the way to Birmingham. I think we were going to pick them up on the way home, and an 11 o'clock bedtime before school, not a good idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, it worked out. We know it worked out. But we were late applying, and I think it was clear that everyone who applied got a place at some point. I don't know. We didn't wait long.
Right.
But I think those problems we had that we talked about last week or the week before were because when you actually apply for the show, there's no, this is what's expected from you. This is what we expect you to be there from this time till this time.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people got caught out by the late end on a Sunday. So it's, both days of the show are 9 till 6 p.m. It's a very long weekend. Yeah. And that's unusual for a Sunday. You think it would finish maybe, say, 4. And I think the reason they do that is because the last ticket, they want to give them more time to get
so
round.
The last tickets are at 3. But I think
5
would have been fine. I mean, some people did leave early. There was a French guy whose flight left at 6.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'm staying till 6.
Did he take his mock with him then?
I don't know. I think he was in Rebel Lug.
Right,
so I think maybe
they just sort of
they could just look after it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it. If you're displaying as a group, or not as a group, but you've got friends there that could take your mock down for you. I mean, Kerry said, I could close it, I could like break it down and take it with me, but I don't know how I'd then give it back to you. Kind of thing. So that is always an option. But yeah, it is a long weekend, and so we didn't have any of those expectations when we signed up, because I don't think that information was there. We've since had like an email from the Reading Brick Show, and they're like, even before you apply to be on the Reading Brick Show, like we've already said we're interested in it, but we haven't said we're definitely coming.
Yeah.
And the pack is so full of all the information you actually need. So Bricktastic did send out a pack like before the show.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people were worried about things, and please can we have some more information sooner? And I think it's just a difference in how Bricktastic like manage newbies, because that's the thing. If you've been to Bricktastic every year, you've got that level of trust that it's all going to go fine, and you roughly know what's going to happen. For newbies, there wasn't enough upfront information, I would say. It still all went perfectly fine, but I think you need more upfront.
Yeah, I wonder if that's... So a lot of the people there, obviously in the northern lugs.
Yeah, that's true, because the Brickshire, and Northern Brickworks.
It was Slug there as well?
I don't think so. I think it's Northern Brickworks and Brickshire.
And Brick Alley, which I think is...
Yeah, where is Brick Alley? We still haven't worked that out. I'm going to guess it's up there somewhere.
I think it's up there. And so, if you're in a tight-knit lug, then you'll have talked to other people and you'll know. Brickish isn't really like that to the same degree.
It's such a large lug that you've got little pockets all over the UK and in fact other places. So you're not necessarily getting to the meets to discuss it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we were meant to have a Fairham meet-up last month, but I don't know if it happened or whether I just couldn't find the details of it. Because I wanted to go, but I couldn't find it. So it might have been skipped. But yeah, I think just having sign up here and this is what we want you to do. And then a little bit more hand-holding, I think I would have appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, so Swindon, when we got there, it was a bit weird because we got there first.
Yes, we were there.
We were there
super duper
early in the morning.
Swindon.
And so it was a bit confusing as to what was going on because none of the organisers were really there at that point.
Yeah, but that was our choice to go early just in case the mock was broken because we couldn't go to the setup day.
Because we had no idea how it would fare in the journey.
Yeah.
But, after that bit, we did talk to the woman organising it.
Kerry.
I
mean, I think they had a clearer... Like, this is where we're going to... Like, the organising bit is.
Yes.
Like, I don't know where at Bricktastic the organising bit was. If I wanted to find Leanne and Kev, where was their base? I don't even know if they had one. I mean, there was obviously the AFOL lounge, which you could go to. But that was more for entertainment and breaks.
Yeah.
I don't think that was if you've got a problem, go here. I think they're quite recognisable people. Maybe they just assume you'll find them. But it's such a big place.
Yes.
I mean... By the Sunday, I realised I hadn't been over to one whole side of the hall. I was like, I didn't get to any of this yesterday. Yeah. So maybe it was at the Mosaic that was like the bit to go to because there was always someone there.
But when we spoke to Kerry at Swindon, she was surprised where our table was. Yeah. Because they decided that all the first time displayers would be in the hall, so there were enough people around. So she was surprised that. So clearly something had gone wrong. But it was nice to know that they'd put that effort in to do something for the first time displayers.
Even though they got it wrong, there was a thought process in. And I don't know, it seemed a little bit like Bricktastic was, this is the order you applied in, this is where you go. Because there was a lot of us. I know that it clearly was not that, because there must have been a lot more planning in for like people with big tables and things. So I don't think it was, that was a flippant remark, I apologise. But there wasn't a, here's your buddy or anything, or like, I don't know. But I mean, we were right next to Nicholas, who he's our lug ambassador, and we knew him from last time. So like, it's not like we were lonely.
Yeah, no.
I think it was just this is what happens at Bricktastic buddy that we needed.
Yeah. I think also the good thing that we had at Swindon was that the morning started off with, you know, them getting everyone together and telling them what's going to happen throughout the day.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything of that at Bricktastic.
No.
I just wasn't paying attention, but...
Well, we were off getting, trying to buy some stuff, weren't we? And then the public were already there. Yeah. Like, we turned around and we're like, oh, they're already in.
Yeah, the public were in like a good 10 minutes early.
Yeah, and there was no, like, everyone to your stations kind of thing. I don't know if it's just because it's such a vast hall as well. But I think that we sort of missed that part. Yeah. And I think that would be quite a nice thing to just get everyone together, like, good luck everybody, you've got this, kind of like a little team talk. Yeah. But not everyone is like that. And it is literally two people organising that massive show. And that's a lot to do. Yes. So it's quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they did at one point call over all of the volunteers.
Oh yeah, they did. So maybe if we'd listened to that bit.
Maybe.
But like we sort of said, oh, is that us? And it was like, no, you're an exhibitor, you're not a volunteer. Yeah. So we just assumed that was giving out jobs, which it probably was. Yeah. But I think, there's that extra level. It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. To know, I mean, you just, one show is not the same as another show. Yes. So you do want that little bit of a, right, this is how we do it kind of thing.
Yeah, just a small, you know, as you say, a 2-minute announcement, this is what's going to happen, the public will be coming in at this time, you know, get ready. Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing that was good is they put on kind of entertainment for us. So we had a Fun Up Your Frankie competition.
Yeah. You can look at my brick haul from yesterday if you want to see my Frankie.
Yeah.
That sounds really wrong.
It does, doesn't it?
So Frankenstein, just to clarify.
Yes, so the Frankenstein
brickhead.
Everyone who was exhibiting got one. I don't know if volunteers got one. And so the idea was you build that and then you embellish it in some way. Yeah, so they provided a whole lot of pieces.
You fun up it, Ian.
You fun it up.
No, you fun up it.
You fun up it.
Doesn't sound right, does it?
Yeah.
You essentially, there's parts available and you can make it look more fun.
There was also a blindfold challenge where it was a small poly bag. You got to look at it for
2 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Then you put your blindfold on and then you have to build it.
Yeah.
And there was also a speed build challenge.
We did that. So we did not win.
We didn't. But so that was 8 teams of 4.
Yeah.
And so we all had a Queer Eye set to build. And then it was going to be that the winner won all 8. But in the end, they had kind of 3 winners.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they did the prizes. Whether they maybe gave 4 on 4 and then there was a third winner who just got someone got a Seinfeld set. So
yes. So they had the winner was the fastest time.
So that was Rebel Lug.
Rebel Lug won that by completing it in like 22 minutes.
Yeah, because they're all young.
They're young and they planned it out and were determined to win. And then there was the team that managed to build it perfectly.
Was it that all of Rebel Lug just piled in and did it by
I'm assuming it was still just the 4.
Okay, right. Just for clarify.
Yeah. But yeah, you then had the team that managed to build it perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think Rebel Lug got a score of 97.
Yes.
We got a score of 99. Only one team got a score of 100.
We were so close. One brick. We could have got a prize.
And then the third winner. So I think the team that did it perfectly, it took about 45 minutes. I think we were slightly quicker than them, but just missed out on the 100.
Yeah.
And then the third winner was the Irish League, because they took over an hour, so they created a special
they
league
created
for the
a special.
Irish.
Yeah, put them in their own bit, and look, they've won because there's only one of them. So yeah, I mean, they could have just won.
Apparently, that
slowest
team just had a lot of fun while building it. So, which is another way of tackling it.
Yeah, well, that's the point. You just have a laugh, and it was a fun place to be.
So if you compare that to, and then so there was then a meal on the Saturday night, followed by an auction. If you compare that to Swindon, where I think on the Saturday night there was a Robot Wars one, so they had Swindon, they had Robot Wars running throughout the event, but they did a special one after the public had left for us. Then the meal, then the auction.
Yeah, and the reason that I think Bricktastic doesn't do anything between the end of the show and the meal is because everyone then legs it to the Lego store. There isn't a Lego store near Swindon, so there's no need for that to happen.
But so at Swindon, there wasn't anything for exhibitors and volunteers to do during the actual show.
Yes.
But then there was a lot more not free food, but they have some people come in who make sandwiches and all sorts of different stuff, and you donate money to them. So I can't remember how much we paid. I think
you're just sort of covering
something
costs,
like
really.
a tenner for the two of us for the 2 days was like the recommended amount or something. So that was really nice.
Yeah, I mean, Bricktastic, there was a lot of snacks, but it was all just like crisps and chocolate.
Yeah.
So you wanted a substantial meal, really.
Yeah.
But then they provided a meal in the evening, and I have to admit the meal in the evening didn't go well, but I don't think that was in any way Bricktastic's fault. I think the venue just didn't pull through for them on that, because they just scrimped on portions, and then, oh look, we've got loads for seconds. It's like, well, maybe you should have.
And it just
fed
took
us a
them
bit more.
so long to serve.
Yeah, so there was obviously meant to be entertainment as well for that evening, but
but it got cut down to just the auction.
We ran out of time,
And I'm not entirely sure they got through all of the lots in the auction.
I think they probably did. I didn't see any more on the table. There was the box that said bingo on, so I think that's what they were going to do. And then there was obviously a big box of bricks for maybe some challenges or something. So I don't think they skimped on the auction.
So one thing that I was wondering is, do you think the mocks are too good?
Ooh. Are the mocks too good?
Yeah.
I mean, are you saying that in that people don't want to apply because they don't feel up to the standard?
Yeah. I think, so like, I know at other places we've seen, I'm not saying they're rubbish mocks, but you tend to get the family mocks.
Oh, yeah.
Where the whole family have built stuff.
Was that Reading?
I think it was Reading, and that was really nice. Obviously, you know, they had quite young kids who were making parts of it, so it wasn't a highly detailed, polished mock.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to see.
It's hard, isn't it? Because, I mean, Bricktastic, I think they see it as this is the biggest and best show. So there is that level of, it has to be good.
Yeah.
But I think people need to understand it doesn't have to be big. I think that's a key thing. And there were there was a good variety of slightly smaller ones.
There were some really good ones. I mean, so you had Cranky Bricks did micro scale Islanders one, which was really cool. That was great. And then there's someone who had loads and loads of the kind of 16 by 16 diorama ones. So lots of small ones were there as well, which are good. But I just think it was a little bit intimidating for some people, maybe.
Yeah, quite possibly.
So like we know that Brickapix,
her mock would definitely have been fine.
Yeah, she said that she didn't want to take a mock. She didn't feel it was up to the standard.
It is. Just so you know, go check out Brickapix.
Yeah, it's a very good mock, and I think it would have been great there. And also, it would have been... Was there any other Harry Potter?
No, it was...
There was one that I thought was, but then it turned out it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think there was many Harry Potters.
But there were loads of kids in Harry Potter jumpers.
Yeah,
different houses.
So actually there's a niche
it's a bit of a shame there.
That needs to be covered.
Yeah. But yeah, so you want to make sure that people feel welcome, and maybe it is just that it's not the show to do your first display at, if you're worried about that. And maybe you know, we jumped straight in at Swindon, which is one of the largest.
Still quite big, yeah.
And then Manchester, which we think is the largest. So you're definitely hitting it quite hard there, as opposed to doing the local shows, which we've got one coming up.
Yeah, but it's more fun to do the big shows. Yeah. Just see how well you can swim.
Yes.
Hope you don't drown. No, it's not. If you're not confident, then you obviously go for the smaller ones. But we're all about just enjoying Lego.
Yes.
No one is expecting you to like bust a gut to do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just make something you enjoyed and bring it along to share. That's kind of the point. I mean, yes, ours is actually quite big. You don't really think about it. Because I think the thing is, I look at ours and it's big and it's beautiful, but I don't feel like it's as much effort as it possibly looks like it is. Like we have literally just like put bits in as we go and fiddled with things. There's no real over planning or like finding the right pieces. Or no, finding the right pieces is kind of a thing for that one, but it's just a little haphazard, but in a good way.
Yeah, definitely. Very much different to Jamie's big castle.
Jamie Douglas did I don't even know the name of it, but
some German castle,
ridiculously massive and craziness, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but in no way can I see myself making that.
No, that definitely required some form of planning.
Yes.
Ours required no planning whatsoever.
Well, we planned a little bit, but not really. No, we plan what parts we kind of want to add.
We find parts and go, how can we add this? That's
we
not
planned
planning.
to put in more skeletons this year because someone said anything. We're planning to put sausages in for next year.
Yes.
These are the things that we plan.
Are we doing it next year?
I thought we were taking it to Swindon again.
That's this year.
That's this year. Next time is what I meant.
Okay.
Far fewer sellers at Bricktastic.
Yes.
Than I think last year, and definitely Swindon. Swindon had quite a lot of sellers actually because they were in that extra marquee.
Yeah.
And all the brick festivals, they have a lot of sellers. Yes. So the balance was really good. Do you think it was off? Do you think they should have had more sellers?
I don't know.
Those sellers sold a lot of stuff.
They did.
The one seller had to go home and restock.
I thought 2 sellers had to go home and restock.
Oh yeah, 2 sellers had to go home and restock.
Which, considering there were about 4 sellers.
Yeah, there was a lot of stock sold, and everyone had a bag. Everyone was walking around with some sort of purchase. There was no let's go to the show and not come away with something. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think the kids all get a poly bag for going in, don't they?
Yes. Yeah.
But still, there was a lot of selling of Lego.
There was an awful lot of selling of Lego.
So
there weren't some of the more crafty shops.
I mean, there was the painting one.
Yeah.
Lego themed painting. But last year we saw jewellery and things.
Yeah.
And they seemed to fit well. I think it sounded like they were trying to get... They were after more for a table at Bricktastic. I don't know if that was a way of limiting the sellers.
I'm not entirely sure how the finances for Bricktastic work. I'm assuming at Swindon, Brickish aren't having to pay a huge amount to put on the thing because the museum are doing it, because the museum...
Gets the ticket sales. Oh, that's true. So the museum gets the ticket sales.
I mean, it is still... There's money going to charity.
Yes.
But... the museum want the Lego show there. Whereas,
This is in a hall that's hired. You have to pay for everything. Literally everything. Carpet, electricity. It must cost quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I guess that's one way of recouping the costs.
So is it, you want the sellers to recoup the cost of the hall, so then the ticket sales can go to charity kind of thing? I don't know. Because, they're talking about having it bigger next time. I don't know if they need more people to turn up with mocks, because if you're saying everyone who applied got in,
I believe so. I think some people had their tables trimmed down, you can't have that much space,
right?
Because we want to get people in. But it's if you've applied, you're in. I think that's the message.
So they couldn't really have expanded the hall without more people applying.
No, because we wouldn't have filled it then. But can you, if you're getting more people coming that are just exhibitors? They're not bringing in any revenue to pay for that extra bit.
So you need to somehow do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
And obviously they were sponsored, so...
Yes, actually that's true. So that Brickset and Bricks McGee both sponsored the show. Yeah. So that might be how they pay for it. And then the rest is all purely straight to charity.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we get to know the sort of this is how much we raised kind of thing. I'm going to guess it takes a while to calculate. And it would be interesting to know.
It would be nice to know.
Is it something like 4,000 through the doors each day?
I think they said 4,500 on the Saturday. I don't remember a number on the Sunday.
You'd assume it'd be the same if it was sold out. Why would they sell less tickets for the same amount of time?
Maybe. Yeah, it was open the same amount of time.
Yeah, so I would say it would be about the same. I guess some people might buy a ticket on the Sunday and go, oh, I can't be bothered to go because Sundays are hard to do things.
Because they've already bought the tickets.
That's true. Well, money-wise, but for us feeling how many people were there, it's different.
We had a few kids who damaged the display and we had to rebuild stuff.
I mean, not many.
No.
I think it was maybe 3 times. One kid accidentally touched the shark and the shark fell down.
Yeah.
And one small child just was very grabby and came up and just grabbed at things. And then, what was the other one? Oh, the other one wanted to... So we've got like a turtle that you can... Or a man that you can hit and he wobbles.
Yes.
We showed them that.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to do it themselves. And one of the kids could reach and did. And the other one couldn't. So the mum picked them up and then just destroyed half of the thing.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to give the right message to those children because you see them break it, you see their worried face about it, you hear their parent tell them off, and you just want to reassure them that it's Lego, it's okay. But you also want to set them up so that they don't go and touch all the other displays.
Yeah.
Like for us, putting something back together, pretty easy because you can't tell what it's meant to look like before.
That's true.
I mean, there are some key things, so the shark always goes back in the same place. But like if they pulled a bit of seaweed up, put it back anywhere. Still a bit of seaweed.
Yeah.
But in a castle, take off a big turret, you can't just stick it in the forest, can you? That'd look weird.
It would.
So, it's hard, but at the end of the day, it is still Lego. And I'm sure it would be fine. No, don't touch the mocks, people. Don't touch the mocks.
Well, so it's slightly weird. So, as you said...
So one kid was like, Dad, don't touch.
Yes,
that was hilarious.
We had a kid tell off a dad. We had one kid who ran up to it and just went, I want to touch it. It was really great. But the guy next to us, Nicholas, is a university lecturer in psychology, was it?
I wasn't listening that much. I can't
remember. His display was a psychology one, so he'd done different optical illusions and built them out of Lego. But he'd also got a small selection of spheres. Made out of different things. And so that was slightly difficult. At one point he wasn't there and someone was asking, could they pick them up? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, later on he was picking them up and showing kids and letting them look at how they're made. So I figured it was probably all right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they looked pretty solid. So
yeah.
But then if you pass that ball to the kid and then they lob it at your mock, not ideal.
Yeah.
Kids are pretty responsible. This is the thing well, some kids are responsible, some kids are not. I like to give them the benefit of the doubt and let them point to things and hope that they'll be all right. But...
Yeah. I found one thing that was interesting is the number of people who asked if it was okay to take a picture of the mock.
Yeah, which is nice and polite. It is. It's like, I bought it to show you.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy for you to enjoy it right now and when you get home as well.
Yes.
Like, there's no time limit on you enjoying this. I've made it for your enjoyment.
Go
ahead.
There was one mum who came and basically took close-up photos of the entire mock so that they could look at it when they got home. Because she didn't seem to want the kid to look at it. It was almost like, no, you're not going to be able to get close enough. You're just going to touch stuff. Just stay there. I'll take some pictures. I was like, it's a bit of a shame, but, at the same time.
Yeah, because we don't get to see their reaction and stuff. And, it is always going to be better in person. But, I think if that makes the mum less anxious, then I go for it. Do what you need to do to not panic about all the mocks that you can destroy.
Are we going to do it again next year? It sounds like a lot of people want to do it next year.
Yeah, it does sound like there was quite a few of our YouTubey buddies, that's a great name, who hadn't been last year and now want to go and display this year.
Yeah.
So not going next year, I'm going to have massive FOMO.
Yeah.
It was stressful this year because of the whole childcare and things, but knowing what's coming now, we can make better choices and get it into the calendar for the babysitters as well.
Yes.
So I guess I would say yes. Okay. I definitely enjoyed it. I think I would like to not have to walk so much. That would be better. So like to and from the Lego store, that was a bit much.
It was a bit crazy.
Yeah. If I could just sleep on the floor under my mock, that would be great. Maybe not.
So for Manchester 2024, we will be building a life-size bed out of Lego, it sounds.
I was like, don't commit to what we're building. You're just being funny. Okay, yes, we'll be building a life-size bed.
I'm assuming we will be going with a different mock.
I think we should. Yeah.
So I want to take our mock back to Swindon. I have plans on how to improve upon it, enlarge it, and make it more exciting. And so I think it will be significantly different to take it to Swindon. But then for Manchester, we need something new.
New and improved. Well, we'll work on it. We've got a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be there. Hopefully. Not guaranteeing.
No.
There's intention.
Okay, so if you have any more questions about what happened, what went on, particulars like what perks did we get, drop a comment. We'll reply to what we can. We don't remember some of it. It's a bit of a blur.
Yeah. If you want to see all of the mocks, then there'll be a video roundup on Friday, so you can come and see what we saw or what there was if you missed out.
Yep. Let's hope you filmed it all.
Yeah, it's hard to remember which bits you filmed or which bits you hadn't because it's huge.
And any suggestions on our mock for next year?
Yeah, that'll be good.
And we will catch you next week for another exciting episode of the podcast. Bye.
Bye.